I remember the time my father had bought me my first comic. I was 7 years old, and my parents had taken me to a bookstore in the airport to keep me occupied. I was looking through rows and columns of novels and magazines and newspapers, even collections of children's storybooks. But nothing seemed to grasp my attention, which is not surprising because I had the attention span of a puppy, but still. And then I saw it at the top of the shelf, on the cover of Amazing Fantasy, introducing Spider Man. What interested me more than the guy holding a tightrope swinging in red and blue spandex was what he was saying, as if not a statement to himself, but to the people who were about to read his story. I quote, "The world will soon see the awesome might of Spider Man." I think they did. And from there, I should say, my obsession began with him. Naturally, as I was just a boy, I marveled at him for his superpowers: super strength, spidey sense, webbing, the ability to stick to walls, and self-heal. Boy, was I jealous of that last one. And after that, it was Spider-Man this, Spider-Man that, the usual fanboy antics. He had eradicated my fears of spiders and arachnids so much that I wished to get bitten by one in order to gain powers similar to his. That gave my uncle quite a fright. So how does this idée fixe become an avid life-inspiring connection? There's actually a really simple story leading to that. Once my best friend and I had had a fight. An aggressive one where we both had gotten hurt. He had cheated in a game to win, but he wasn't ready to accept it. But the next day he came to me and apologized. I was too proud to forgive him. A week later, his mother contacted my mother and she had a talk with me. To help me understand better, she connected it with Spider-Man. She said, "Remember how Spider-Man forgave the man who killed his uncle? If he can do it, why can't you?" Now, at that point of time, I thought forgiving my best friend would make me equivalent to Spider-Man. So I did. But gradually, I realized that there was more to that lesson of forgiveness. As we grow, we encounter experiences that leave us with scars deeper than what cheating in a game leaves us with. You question, how much will I forgive? How much can I forgive? Or how will I forgive the person who has so profoundly damaged my heart and soul? And believe me, these questions are valid. But holding a grudge against someone is not just about what they've done to you, but also of what you've allowed to happen to yourself. So learn to forgive them. When you forgive them, you forgive yourself. It's a catchy phrase, but it's true. You need not reconciliate with them or even forget what they've done. But it will help you move on ahead in life, similar to Spidey. You see, characters like Spider-Man, they're not just written with superpowers in mind. Every comic, every show, every movie reveals a character trait, an intricate layer of his arc that defines who he is, what his actions are, what his thoughts lead to. Spider-Man's character is usually based on Stan Lee's famous quote, "With great power, there must also come great responsibility." But I believe that his development as a persona, teenager, character, and superhero developed dynamically, evolved dynamically consequent to that. What he did after he acknowledged the meaning behind that phrase. So here's where I learned my next lesson. Make the right choice. That phrase was not meant for Spider-Man, but for Peter Parker. The powers bestowed upon him left him at a crossroad, to use it or abuse it. He chose the former. Isn't that what all of our lives is? A series of choices? We all have secret talents, hidden abilities. That is our great power. And it's up to us how we employ those abilities. It's always the greater good versus the personal gain. It's a sadistic choice, I'll agree, but it's up to us. our choices. And to progress, we have to choose. So today, find your spider bite. Find that urge, that purpose, that instills in you the same powers as Parker. Super strength, I would say that's confidence. Spidey sense, that's focus. Ability to stick, that's resilience and commitment. And self-heal, I would say that's self-love. Reflect and make a choice. Small or big, easy or the treacherous one, it doesn't matter. You see, we have the right to choose, but it's our responsibility to make the right one. So make sure the choice you make today is the right one. I learned my third lesson in a rather hard way, I would say. I'd shifted to Jakarta in grade 7, but I joined the school about 2 months late, which meant immense backlog of classwork, homework, projects, and whatnot. And I tried to complete them. You know, uneven sleeping times, uneven eating times, which still continues. And my parents asked if I needed their assistance, and I would shrug and say no, thinking I'm old enough, I can do it on my own. But that took a toll on me. I fell sick, and my grades were affected. It hurt me. But as I was recovering, I would avidly follow Spider-Man through comics and shows. Once, while fighting one of his deadliest villains, Kindred, I thought Spidey would win the battle. You know, despite all the grave injuries he'd endured, he'd still make it through. But Spidey had realized he was more than likely going to die in the battle, so he called for help. One of the strongest superheroes called for help. I was surprised. I thought, if a man with such immense strength and endurance could call for help, why did I think I could shoulder everything? Why do we all do that? So here's what I have to say. It's okay to ask for help. He taught me that not all our battles are meant to be fought alone. And there are people who truly care for us. And they'll come to our help when we really need it. And it can be any form of help. Service, love, affection, listening to you, talking to you, or any form of assistance in work. Just all you have to do is ask the right person and not walk the path of life alone. As I grew up, I picked up a few things along the way that were not explicitly stated in the comics. For those who do not know, and for those who do, Spider-Man would sling and swing into anything without thinking, like this. And he would rely heavily on his spider sense to protect him from danger. Now, while he benefited from the boldness and obstinacy, I don't think that works for us in the real life, does it? So, plan ahead. And if possible, make a foolproof one. The secret of being successful and living a purposeful, joyful, and fulfilled life is subject to many school of thoughts. Examples include putting in a lot of effort, making sacrifices, and maintaining discipline. Planning, however, is one of the most essential elements I think one needs to be successful at anything. We students, in fact not just students, parents, teachers, anyone, have worthwhile goals. I want to be happy. I want to be healthy. I want to be successful. I want to stop procrastinating. Doesn't pan out well. But I believe only some of us, only a minority of us, have actually sat down and planned towards that goal. So sit down. Spend time to plan it out. Don't jump in like Spidey, because trust me, if you get stuck in the mess, you won't be able to pull yourself out. And you will be rewarded well for your time, for your effort, for your work. And you will save yourself a great deal of disappointment, annoyance, and time, which is our precious resource. Lastly, accept that you cannot control everything. Parker led a life which was a burden of regret for him. He could not overcome the fact that he could not save his Uncle Ben. And that led to a tragic events of his relationship and life. Now, at some point of life, we all have wanted things to go our way. It's the natural human tendency. We want to control everything. But I ask, why? Success? Happiness? But don't you think that would be momentary if you control everything? It's crucial to understand that if you really want to live a happy life, you have to let go. Let life take charge. You have to realize, you have to know that despite your best efforts, you cannot control everything. You cannot change that fact. It's irrefutable. So learn to let go. It's okay to let go. I have learned a lot through him. This character has a lot to learn than just by his superpowers. To me, Spider-Man represents a beacon of hope to teenagers and adults in ways varied to each. And through my fanatic love, I have learned a lot. And things have never been the same. In a positive way, of course. Thank you so much.